Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us at HackerTV and today's podcast. So, this is the fourth episode of HackerTV, and HackerTV is basically a pre-hackathon podcast series where we call upon hackathon champs, working professionals, industry experts, and tech enthusiasts to come up and share their tips and tricks about hackathons and the latest tech with along with backend development and as well as front end development. So today we're going to focus on the backend part, and this pre hackathon podcast is about AceHack 3.0, and we'll discuss more about AceHack 3.0 a little bit later. Now I'd like to welcome our guest for today. He is a software engineer at Orcas. He is an ex-employee of Amazon, and he has worked and contributed for Netflix backend development. So today's speaker is Mr. Saksham Solanki. Welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you, Biraj, and thank you, ASICS, for having me as a guest as part of this hackathon, and really excited to, you know, for this podcast. Moving ahead.
Yeah, so first question is how are you doing, sir? How is
Yeah,
everything?
I'm really doing well. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm very excited to hear more from you.
Yeah,
So,
same for me.
before
Likewise.
we, yeah, what?
Sorry, likewise.
Yeah. So before we delve on into the hackathon specifics and AceHack, could you please share a little bit about your professional background and your experience with backend development?
Yeah, sure. So I completed my graduation in year 2020, which was Corona batch, and just started my journey with Cognizant. Did some kind of associate program analyst role for 4 to 5 months over there, which is kind of an internship program, which was based on kind of full stack development where I worked on Angular, then Java Spring Boot, learned about it, and went into some internship program, built some projects. Then I started working with the Hesden, which is a subsidiary of Deloitte, uh, where I was, working mostly on the Android Kotlin. We used to work for some, US based clients, and yeah, most of my major experience was in uh, Kotlin and Android in Hesden. Then I worked for 1 year in MobiQuick, where we used to develop, backend systems in Java Spring Boot uh, for that fintech firm, uh, based on, I mean, kind of features related to UPI, IMPS, wallet transactions and whatnot. Then I worked for Amazon for around 1 year, 2 months, 3 months, where I used to work for the internal product of Amazon, which is Fire TV Stick, which is used in, I think, US or other marketplaces. Some, I'm not sure what is its market in India, but we used to develop the uh, front end, which is basically the uh, UI in Android, and also we used to take care of
Right.
the backend part of it, which
Mhm.
serves the metadata of Fire TV detail pages. Yeah, that's all. And then I started contributing for Netflix Conductor, which is, uh, a very popular tool for orchestration between microservices. uh, so yeah, if someone is familiar with microservices, then they might be knowing about the what is microservices architecture in Netflix Conductor. Right now, Netflix Conductor is read only on GitHub, and Orcus is going to be the new home for that. So yeah, Conductor OS is the new repository where we are owning the code base and all. And yeah, I'm working as a full-time software engineer with Orcus, where we used to work with both open source code base as well the enterprise application which Orcus develop for this orchestration of microservices. Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
all regarding my
That's
experience.
very inspiring. And could you tell me how crucial is backend development in hackathons and what role does it exactly play in the project? that participants can make? How important
Okay.
is backend development?
Okay, so before answering this question directly, I would like to highlight some points which I have noticed during couple of hackathons from last hackathon, few hackathons which I have
Yeah,
attended
yeah,
personally. So I went to hackathons. I went there as a person to judge a project which is mostly on backend, but
right.
I witnessed folks which are what they are doing is like creating UI and Android
Mm,
application, and using the some uh, data storage services like Firebase or whatever. So I asked them like, why are you not creating backend or all? So if they are having a team of 3 or 4 people, right, and you are going to build something very which you can present to 5 to 6 different judges. So why not create backend? Why not create a big
right,
application, big feature based
right,
application, feature heavy application? So yeah, if you are creating a very feature heavy application, features are going to be large, high, and also you want to scale your application, right? Then definitely backend should come into the picture. Backend
yeah,
should be there. You cannot directly
yeah,
rely on storage services like Firebase or
right, right,
GitHub or whatever, right? So I
yeah,
would definitely recommend those people like go and create services. Don't just the work which you are doing with this storage services can be done in the server side as well, on the backend as well.
right,
So that's
right.
why
Yeah.
I think backend plays major role in the hackathon. And
Mm,
yeah, most of the businesses are running on backend systems, so definitely
right.
it's really huge marketplace.
Yeah, backend is a huge marketplace, but it also comes with its own challenges and practices,
Yes,
right? So, what are some of
definitely.
the common challenges that participants in hackathons face when incorporating the backend elements into their hackathon projects, and how can they overcome these challenges efficiently?
Okay, so first of all, like I would recommend ki don't just directly come into hackathon with very less experience in backend or something, right?
Definitely.
Right. So first start learning. If you are a first year student, then definitely I would recommend ki uh, learn about backend development and all. I
बिल्कुल.
see folks, second year folks in hackathons as well, which are trying to participate. They are trying to build something, but they lag on the backend development, which I generally witnessed. तो आई रिकमेंड कि पहले अच्छे से कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर कर लो, लर्निंग पे ध्यान दो, ठीक है? लर्न इन अ वेरी स्लो पेस. दिस इज नॉट अ
हाँ,
रेट रेस, दिस इज अ हॉर्स रेस. लंबा जाना है इसमें. तो
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
अच्छे से पहले ग्रास्प करो चीजें, then participate
हाँ,
in the hackathons. If you're doing it for fun, then that's okay. But if you want to be in top 5, if you want to see in your
हम्म,
position in top 5, right, then
हम्म,
काफी अच्छा रोज 3 से 4 घंटे प्रैक्टिस करो इन सब चीजों पे
हाँ,
रेगुलरली.
बिल्कुल.
Then
हाँ,
you are going to quickly do things in hackathon. नहीं तो फिर वही है कि if you are going to participate for 36 or 48 hours hackathon, तो कुछ आधी चीज कंप्लीट हो रही है, आधी चीज कंप्लीट नहीं हो रही है, फिर
हाँ,
शोकेस क्या करोगे
बिल्कुल.
आप? ऐसा जनरली
हाँ,
होता
and
है.
people often don't realize कि backend में और ज्यादा घिसना पड़ता है than compared to front
Yes,
end, right? Because backend is where you build the logic सब कुछ का, right?
एंड यू विल सी डेफिनेटली सम चैलेंजेस, कुछ बग्स आ रहे हैं, कुछ इश्यूज आ रहे हैं, कुछ
हाँ,
एक्सेप्शन आ रही है, जो कि समटाइम्स मिलता है. ऑल्दो
हम्म,
एआई चैट जीपीटी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, बट कुछ चीजें सामने होती है, इश्यूज आते हैं, नहीं दिखते हैं वो. आपको घुस के सॉल्व करना पड़ता है उसको, राइट? सो
हाँ, right.
उसके लिए यू हैव टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस. काफी कमांड होना चाहिए, होगा तभी आप फटाफट कर पाओगे चीजों.
हाँ,
नहीं तो फिर
बिल्कुल.
वही टाइम लगेगा, वही 2 दिन में प्रोजेक्ट्स नहीं हो पाएंगे कंप्लीट. आप भले ही पूरे 48 आवर्स एक्टिव रहो, 36 आवर्स एक्टिव रहो, डज नॉट मैटर. सो दिस इज द एडवाइस कि पहले इन सब चीजों पे ध्यान दिया जाए, देन.
Could you also share सम ऑफ योर पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस कि आपने ऐसा कोई प्रोजेक्ट देखा होगा कि जहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स ने बहुत अच्छे और एफिशिएंट वे में बैकएंड को इनकॉर्पोरेट किया है विद देयर एंटायर प्रोजेक्ट. वुड यू गिव अस सम एग्जांपल्स प्लीज?
यस, बेसिकली मैं जब भी हैकेथॉन्स में जाता हूँ तो
हम्म.
थोड़ा मतलब ठीक है, दे स्टार्ट विद सम मोनोलिथिक आर्किटेक्चर, दे ट्राई टू क्रिएट सम यू नो simple backend in their local
हाँ हाँ
machines,
हाँ
right?
बिल्कुल. या.
Then what I try to explain is ki you are going to pitch the your project to different judges, then definitely they will ask you the question related to scalability and all, right? Because they
Definitely.
think
Yeah.
this project is a like as a product, फ्यूचर के हिसाब से वो लोग देखते हैं प्रोजेक्ट को, नॉट लाइक कि सिर्फ हैकाथॉन पर्सपेक्टिव के हिसाब से, राइट? सो आई
Right.
generally suggest them ki use some kind of microservices design patterns in your systems, right?
Hmm.
uh, if you are deploying your services locally, if it is deploying on cloud machines, on virtual machines or whatever docker instances, then definitely it is a good. if not, then at least try कि यार अगर आप 4 लोग का ग्रुप हो तो 4 डिफरेंट मशीन्स पे एक सर्विस चले, and try to connect a single backend with those services and all with single
Hmm.
API gateway. So I'm indirectly promoting Orcus here, but Orcus solve this
Yeah.
problem. Uh, Communication between microservices, right? Which is an
Right.
orchestration platform which do the communication between this microservices, right? Independent कि कहाँ पे hosted है, cloud पे hosted है, आपकी local machine पे hosted है, whatever. But this solve that problem. I tried to basically help folks कि यार आप कैसे use कर सकते हो ये सब चीजें and all. But definitely
हाँ.
on initial stage I tried spoon feeding to them because क्योंकि इसमें काफी
Hmm.
सारे challenges आते हैं setup करने में and all such things.
हाँ.
So yeah, I ask कि पहले documentation पढ़ो, पहले read करो चीजें अच्छे से, नहीं आ रहा तो then I can spoon feed and explain you some with some examples, then you can probably integrate in your project. That's how.
हाँ, तो बैकएंड के साथ साथ एक और प्रॉब्लम जो स्टूडेंट्स काफी फेस करते हैं ड्यूरिंग हैकाथॉन्स इज द टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट, राइट? क्योंकि लिमिटेड टाइम में उनको एक बड़ा सा प्रोजेक्ट बिल्ड करना होता है. सो कंसीडरिंग द टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट्स ऑफ हैकाथॉन्स, what strategies would you recommend for efficiently implementing the backend to the front end and the entire project?
Yes. So सबसे पहली चीज मैं बोलूंगा कि uh, अपना टास्क डिवाइड कर लो. इफ यू आर गोइंग,
हाँ.
टू ऑफ योर मेंबर्स इन द टीम इज गोइंग टू डू बैक
हम्म.
एंड वर्क, तो डिवाइड कर लो
हम्म.
कि यार 4 सर्विसेज बनानी है, तो तू 2 भाई बना, मैं 2 बना लूंगा. ऐसा कुछ कर सकते हैं, राइट? डिवाइड
हाँ.
एंड कॉन्कर. यूज गिट
हाँ.
efficiently, right? Because
हाँ.
finally you are going to merge this 4 services or something like that, right? So it would be
हम्म.
helpful for real time collaboration with the people, right?
राइट.
Git का efficiently use करो, right? uh, ETA डिसाइड करो चीजों का, एस्टिमेटेड टाइम ऑफ
हम्म.
अराइवल कि कब तक दे सकते
राइट.
हो.
बिल्कुल.
48 आवर्स है तो यार 30 आवर्स में मुझे चाहिए. Although it's happen
हाँ.
in corporate, but just try to be very strict with this kind of deadlines कि यार हमको जीतना है
हाँ.
तो फिर तो हम करना तो पड़ेगा इतना तो फिर.
हाँ.
So
टाइम
ये सब.
मैनेजमेंट बहुत अच्छे से सीख जाते हैं ड्यूरिंग हैकाथॉन्स.
यस. एंड फर्स्ट एक और चीज जो मैं पहले भी बोल चुका हूँ कि
हाँ.
लर्निंग पे पहले सबसे पहले ध्यान दो, रेट रेस में मत
हम्म.
भागो. हॉर्स रेस के
राइट.
लिए बनो, अपने को अपने आप को हॉर्स रेस के लिए प्रिपेयर करो, अच्छे से चीजें सीखो
हाँ.
ताकि फटाफट आप चीजें इंप्लीमेंट कर पाओ. आपको आइडिया जैसे ही मिले यू कैन इजिली एबल टू कोड दैट डाउन, राइट? नॉट
हम्म.
समथिंग कि यार टाइम लग रहा है, इश्यूज आ रहे हैं क्योंकि कमांड नहीं है
हम्म.
उस पे, चीजों पे सीख रहे हैं
राइट.
वहीं पे
राइट.
बैठ के. दैट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन, दैट्स नॉट इवन गोइंग टू
हम्म.
हेल्प.
Right. So, are there any specific backend frameworks which you would recommend, which are particularly well suited for such hackathons, and make their projects more efficient?
Yes,
If so,
definitely.
why?
Yes, I would suggest Node.js, Express,
Okay.
or Python with Django or Flask, whatever folks
Right.
prefer. I won't suggest Java here directly because Java has its own challenges and all, and Java is
Mhm.
difficult sometimes for folks who are just starting their career or just they are trying to learn something. नोड जेएस, एक्सप्रेस और पाइथन इसलिए कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि बहुत जल्दी से चीज़ें इंटीग्रेट हो जाती है इसके अंदर.
Hmm.
ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगता है, स्निपेट्स आर ऑलरेडी देयर, चीज़ें काफ़ी
Hmm.
डिबग करना आसान है। Where on the Java side or any other side like Golang or C Sharp whatever, थोड़ा टाइम लगता है, काफ़ी टाइम देना पड़ता है इन चीज़ों को सीखने के लिए, अच्छे से सीखने के लिए, और इश्यूज आते हैं इनमें।
हाँ,
तो आई वुड सजेस्ट कि हैकेथॉन के लिए दिस टू लैंग्वेजेस और फ्रेमवर्क्स आर
right,
रियली important, which one could prefer.
right. Yeah. Also, one more concern that people have during hackathons is security. So, how can hackathon participants address this security consideration and problems when developing backend components for their projects?
Okay, so I think this is an interesting question. Generally, what we do and what I used to do in my time is we used to do, use some kind of JWT is very common thing in
Yeah, yeah,
current plan, right? So
yeah,
I encourage every person like use JWT in your systems or any kind of token based mechanism which you prefer.
right.
You can implement your own, right?
Mm,
Use end-to-end encryption. You are if you are
mm,
going to send requests from front end to back end, like WhatsApp do in current scenario. Their उनका जो टैगलाइन है वो भी यही है कि द मैसेजेस आर
uh,
encrypted and secure, right? So
yeah,
that's you
end-to-end
can do as
encryption.
well. Yes, correct. So that's you can do. You can use some kind of encryption mechanism and whatnot. You
Hmm,
can even use grpc. Grpc is very
hmm,
common uh,
right.
uh, framework for communication between two different clients, right? If you are not preferring
Hmm,
HTTP, it is really fast, and the data is also secure and serialized over there. So ये आप पढ़ सकते हो. Also it's complex on initial stages, but I would
yeah,
recommend कि ये सब
definitely.
चीजें पढ़ सकते हो, right? Then कुछ चीजें हैं like you can use Firebase
Hmm,
for logins, SSO and whatnot, right?
hmm,
Okta
hmm,
integrations, Auth zero.
hmm,
Auth zero is really impressive thing in
yeah,
uh, current trends.
right.
So ये काफी अच्छी चीजें हैं, एंड या सो इन सब चीजों का आप ध्यान रखोगे तो
Hmm,
डेफिनेटली this things will secure your application, right?
right. So you mentioned the problem of scalability during backend development. I'll just go back to that a little bit. So it is an important aspect of backend development, right? So what advice do you have for participants to ensure that their projects are scale effective, and especially considering the limited time frame in hackathons? उसको scalable कैसे बनाए एक project
Okay, so based on this, I think divide it into services, minor services we
को?
call as microservices.
Right.
हर जगह माइक्रो सर्विसेज की नीड नहीं होती. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि हर जगह माइक्रो सर्विसेज आप लगा सकते हो, but
Hmm.
scalability के लिए I think this is the best advice I can give to any person who is just
Hmm.
starting. uh, if you are not deploying to any cloud application or whatever, then you can even show the prototype of how microservices work in your local application. So microservices
Right. Right.
application architecture आप use करोगे, then definitely it will distribute the load across different services, right? If you are going
Right.
to use some kind of cloud services, then you can use although it's really complex thing, but I would like to highlight it, like you can use the pod replications, load
Okay.
balancers, right?
Right. Right.
कि अगर आपकी एक एप्लीकेशन में 3 इंस्टेंसेस चल रही है, एक डाउन हो जाता है तो सेकंड विल स्पिन अप, दैट विल टेक केयर
Hmm.
ऑफ
Right. Right.
your availability
Hmm.
of your application, right? So
हाँ. Right.
अगर आप लोकल पे भी चला रहे हो तो देन आई gave this example of like how orchestrator
Hmm.
can help connecting between
Right.
all these nodes
Hmm.
of or microservices, right?
Right. So, एक
And
और
of course,
क्वेश्चन जो
Dockerize your application. Yeah,
सॉरी
Dockerize your application so that it ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो कि यार मेरी मशीन पे चल रहा है, उसकी मशीन पे नहीं चल रहा है. तो हमेशा इन सब चीजों का ध्यान रखा जाए तो this would be really
राइट राइट
scalable.
एक और क्वेश्चन जो मेरे दिमाग में था which I have also faced as a participant in hackathons is कि how can hackathon participants strike a balance between utilizing the existing backend solutions and innovating with new approaches to create a unique and impactful project. वो कैसे करें?
ठीक है. Interesting question. Let me think about that.
Because मैंने भी काफी फेस किया है ये problems during hackathons कि how do I make this unique?
यूनिक कैसे बनाएंगे बैकएंड की हेल्प से? आई थिंक मोस्ट एमवीपी चीज जो होती है वो तो यूआई होता है आपके एप्लीकेशन में,
हाँ हाँ,
मेजरली,
definitely
क्योंकि
definitely, yeah yeah,
यूआई इज लाइक दिखता है एंड बिकता है. बैकएंड
हाँ
इज लाइक
हाँ
कि ना तो मैं दिखूंगा बट बिकूंगा जरूर.
हाँ, बट
सो
असली काम तो बैकएंड में ही चलता
ये काम मैं करूंगा. सो
है. हाँ.
बैकएंड आपकी कैसे हेल्प करेगा इनोवेटिव सॉल्यूशंस में? इंटरेस्टिंग. नॉट, don't have answer at the moment, but I will have to think about it.
Yeah, no problem. It's an interesting question. So, Abhi, considering the backend trends we have right now and looking ahead, what trends do you foresee in the backend development within the context of hackathons? And how can participants prepare to stay ahead of the curve? मतलब आने वाले दिनों में जो ट्रेंड्स आ सकते हैं, उनको उनके साथ ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स कैसे कोप अप करें या कैसे खुद
Sorry,
को प्रिपेयर करें कोप अप विद दैट?
can you repeat the question? I just
Yeah. I
missed.
mean, looking ahead into the future, what trends can you foresee in backend development within the context of hackathons?
Okay, okay. So always up to date with technology and trends, right?
Right, right.
Uh,
Hmm.
like there is something like serverless architecture, right? This
हाँ हाँ हाँ
things
हाँ.
are there, right? So ये चीज तो चलने ही वाली है for long time. So always up to date with this, right? Learn about this AI based tools in your backend application, which is going to sort your problem. Like for
Right,
example, different backend, like if I talk about Spring Boot, so it supports the AI based chaining in their applications, functional programming in AI and all. So अभी
right.
ये जब से LLM आया है, जब से ये चीजें सपोर्ट होने लग गई है डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फ्रेमवर्क्स के अंदर, तो इन सब चीजों से
Hmm.
भी one should always be updated, right? Then microservices, it's kind of सदाबहार. बहुत टाइम तक रहने वाला है, नहीं जाने वाला है कहीं पे भी.
Yeah, definitely.
uh, Event driven architecture is definitely going to be there. For event driven architecture is in like you should be aware of using some kind of messaging queue, Rabbit,
Okay,
MQ,
got it,
Kafka, or
got it.
whatnot, right? Because in the future, if definitely you are going to work on something which is directly dealing with concurrency and all, right? कि
Yeah,
सेम टाइम पे बहुत सारी चीजें बैकएंड के अंदर आ रही है, तो हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू डील विद दैट, राइट? सो इन सब चीजों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए. इवेंट ड्रिवन आर्किटेक्चर इज रियली मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन योर backend backend driven applications, right? Use containerization orchestration. थोड़ा complicated है, but you one can learn if अगर अंदर से इच्छा है, eager है, तो then one can
हाँ
learn
हाँ.
about it, right? Learn about Kubernetes containerization, orchestration, and all these things. These are really important things for for a backend developer in regular life.
Yeah, and I think participating in hackathons is very important these days because it teaches us not just coding but also how to approach people, how to build teamwork, and how to work upon our own coding skills within a given amount of time. Right? It's I feel like it's very important these days क्योंकि आजकल people are like घर पे बैठेंगे कोर्स देखेंगे YouTube पे वहीं से सीख लेंगे, which is fine, but hackathons also give you a different perspective altogether, right?
Correct, correct, correct. या सो
So
हैकाथन में तो
that,
आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता ही है डेफिनेटली. आप कुछ ना कुछ तो सीख
हाँ
के जाओगे ही जाओगे वहां से. बट अगर
definitely.
आपका माइंडसेट ये है कि आई एम गोइंग टू विन, मुझे जीतना है, टॉप 5 में आना है, तो डेफिनेटली आपको पहले से चीजें प्रिपेयर
हाँ,
करके
पता होनी
आनी ही
चाहिए.
होगी, राइट? अब जैसे
Right, right.
कोई ट्रैक है आपके हैकाथन के अंदर कि यार किस पे मुझे यूज
हाँ
करके कुछ बनाना है, तो डेफिनेटली आपको पहले से ही उसके बारे में पता होना चाहिए. आप
हाँ,
अगर
definitely.
36 आवर्स के अंदर वहां पे वो चीज पढ़ना चालू करोगे, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पढ़ना चालू करोगे, दैट इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प. कहीं ना कहीं ब्लॉकर्स आएंगे ही आएंगे,
हाँ,
राइट?
definitely. And
So
hackathon may people have a lot of fun too because there are so
yes,
many
yes, yes.
prizes and you get to interact with so many people. इतने नए नए दोस्त बनते हैं, connections बनते हैं. It's a fun environment, right?
Definitely, definitely. Yes, I witnessed as
जैसे
well.
कि yeah, definitely, which is exactly what is going to happen in AceHack 3.0, our coming upcoming hackathon, where there are incredible prizes and it's just going to be a very fun environment, and you people are going to get to learn a lot, and it's it's going to be just massive. We're doing it on a massive scale, so I hope people have registered, and if not, then people should register ASAP because the registrations are going to close very soon. So, and also, it was very inspiring and very motivating to speak to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us and taking your time. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much, Asex, and thank you, Biraj, for having me. Us, and all the best to every folks who are going to participate in Asex. And backend use backend very effectively to create
Yeah,
something very innovative. And
yeah.
yeah, that's all I think I can.
Thank you very much, sir. It was very
Thank you, thank you.
inspiring.
Pleasure
Thank
is
you,
also
everyone.
mine.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you, sir.
thank you.